Okay, so we're going to work with appearances here. So we have two artboards. The first artboard we're going to focus on. Of course, we've learned how to apply strokes and fills and gradients and patterns and opacity and blending and various other things. But what if we wanted to combine all of those things in interesting ways and in multiple ways? That's something called an appearance. So we're going to start with this background rounded rectangle, and I'm going to go to the appearance panel, and I'm going to change the fill color to this kind of saturated yellow, and then I'm going to change the stroke color to a blue and change the stroke weight, make it a bit bigger, actually quite a bit bigger, like 10 points. So nothing really strange at the moment. Everything is kind of what you've already learned how to do. But in the appearance panel, I can now start playing around with adding extra strokes and fills. So I'm going to add an extra stroke. I'm just going to make this taller so that you can see what I'm doing. So I've got an extra stroke here, and I'm going to make that yellow and bring the size down. So now you can see that if I click away, I've got a yellow stroke on the inside of the blue stroke. I need to click it again to carry on. I'm going to actually make that 2 points. And then I'm going to add an additional stroke. I'm going to make that a darker blue. And I'm going to apply the effect path offset path, which pushes that path out. So I'm going to push that path out a little bit. Okay, and then what I want to do is for the blue stroke, that's this one here, I want to add a drop shadow. So I'm going to go to Stylize, Drop Shadow, and you can see that it's now applying a drop shadow to just that path. And I want to change the blur to, let's make that 0.5, and let's set the offset to 3 and 3. Okay, so now it's starting to look much more interesting. And then I'm going to add another fill. So I'll go down here, add another fill, and I'm going to fill it with a let's see, okay, I'm going to say pink. And for that fill, I'm going to apply the effect Stylize Scribble. And I can now play around with that. So I'll choose, let's choose Childlike. And let's change a few settings here. Let's increase the variation. See what that does. No, that's pretty bad. Really just experimenting. I mean, I don't know exactly what all of these things do. So it's just a case of playing. Let's go back to, that looks better. Spacing, yeah. Variation, okay, that's pretty cool. And then what I'm going to do with that same fill is I'm going to change the opacity. So I'm going to bring that down a bit so that it's fainter. Okay, so I've now got an interesting result for one path. So if I press Command Y, it's just one path, but it's got multiple strokes and multiple fills on it. I want to save that as a graphic style. So I'm going to open the graphic styles panel, and I'm going to drag this in here, and then click away and double click on it, and I'm just going to call it yellow scribble. Okay, now let's look at the text here. Now this text I've converted to outlines first because I'm not sure whether you'll have the same fonts as me, so that will help us get around that. So let's do some stuff with this. So first of all, I'm going to apply a fill, and let's just say white. and a stroke. Let's go with that magenta, and then I'm going to apply another fill at the top, and I'll change that to let's see, what should I do? I'll go with purple, and I will change the offset path for that to 3, and I will also change the blending mode of that from normal to something else, something that will work for us. I think multiply, and then just bring the opacity down. Okay, now I think I need another stroke here, so I'm going to make a white stroke and put that above the fill, so we need to drag it. So you can reorder these things and it does change the overall look. So take this and drag it above the fill, and also let's try an offset path on that of 1. Okay, I think also we need maybe a drop shadow on the original fill, so let's go with drop shadow. Yep, that looks okay. Let me take the opacity up to 100 and maybe just offset it a little bit more. Okay, so there's my multiple appearance graphic. So I'm going to go to the graphic styles panel, drag the text in here to make a new graphic style, and I'll just call this purple text. Alright, so now we've got that done. The beauty with this is now I can go to anything and use that graphic style. So on this side, I'll select that and I'll apply my yellow scribble, and I'll select my text and apply the purple text. And so it's a very quick way of applying a graphic style to something. I could even swap it around, and I could say this should be the purple text and this should be the yellow scribble. Okay, that gives me an interesting alternative. So you get the idea of how you can work with the appearance panel to build up your own appearances and to save them as graphic styles. So what I want you to do is to build your own appearance for the first artboard and save them as a graphic style, one for the background rectangle and one for the text. Then for artboard 2, I want you to edit the text into your own name. So this is just Arial, ordinary text. So type your own name in here, and then you're going to apply those graphic styles that you saved from the first artboard, apply them to the second artboard. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and see you next time.